Hey everyone, Pastor Brian Hockman, one of the pastors here at Grace in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hope that you're having a wonderful day today. It seems like I've been bombarded with this concept today. Maybe it's just on my mind and I'm noticing it in different places. My children are coming home today. Trisha and the kids drove out to Minnesota for the weekend to see their cousin, my niece, get confirmed in the Twin Cities in one of our Welsh churches there. And so they enjoyed some time with the cousins and got a chance to hang out. But they're coming back today. I was reading something today, a story that I've heard before, but it's always moving and touching to be reminded of it, the importance of human touch and how love gets transferred through the ability to have contact with one another, especially for children. That the story was of orphanages in the Eastern Bloc countries that actually have volunteers to come in and just hold the babies, because without that they get malnourished and can't survive. They can't survive without the love, without that touch. And then I'll put a shameless plug in for the podcast that we recorded today, Most Certainly True podcast. If you haven't subscribed to that, if you haven't checked that out, either Google Most Certainly True podcast or check it out at our website, gracedowntown.org. We've been doing that same page summer, the Bible reading initiative to read through the New Testament in these 3 months of summer 2020. And the book that Pastor Huebner and I discussed today is the book of 1 John. The love that God has for us, the love that he motivates us to share with one another, is one of the main themes of John's writings. One of my favorite passages in that book is 1 John chapter 3, verse 1. He says, "See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God, and that is what we are." It's a great measure of God's love that we can be called his children, mainly because we don't deserve that honor and that status. We are born as enemies of God, and every day we act like the spoiled, rotten children that we are as we sin against God, as we thumb our nose at him and live life our own way instead of loving him and thanking him for being our Father. Yet the Father lavishes his love on us and calls us what we don't deserve to be called. He calls us what we haven't earned, but by his grace he calls us to be children of the Heavenly Father. Now, as sons of God, we are heirs of everlasting life. We have a promised inheritance through the death, resurrection of his Son, our brother Jesus. And now we have this love of God. He's lavished the love of being a child on us. He's lavished on us the joy of being a member of his family. God has given us his undeserved grace, which comes with it the promise of a sure and certain future in his home forever, in the presence of God here on earth, and there to bask in his glory forever and ever in heaven. That's the lavish love of a heavenly Father. How great that God has given us that love, that he was willing not just to give it, but to secure it for us, that Jesus was willing to give up everything, even that relationship with his Father, to be forsaken by God, to suffer on the cross, to die sin's death, and even lay there for 3 days in the tomb. Jesus was willing to do it all so that we could be called children of God. Jesus rose from the dead to conquer sin and death, to give us his children that peace, to claim us and adopt us to be his own. How great is the love that the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. Dear children of God, rejoice in the lavish love of God. Thank him for it every day. Look for opportunities to share that love with others, to reflect it into the lives of those who don't know the lavish love of God. Be his spokesman, be the lighthouse that can share the light of God's love into a dark world. God be with you this week and always.